Hi, my name is Lisa Brody, and everybody watches accesstv.org. Peace.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it like this. Ba-boom. Ba-boom. Do it like that. Yeah. Ba-boom.
This is Jonathan Small, broadcasting live from accesstv.org studios in downtown Hartford. Today is August the 3rd. We're doing our first program live over the internet. So I hope everybody can get the opportunity to log on and tune in for today's program of the Small Report. Tomorrow, which will be August the 4th, I will be co-hosting another program on WRTC Radio, 89.3 FM, WRTC.com, from 12:15 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. My special guest will be a candidate running for the newly formed 5th District, combined with the Windsor-Hartford area. And I hope everybody can get the opportunity to either go online or tune on to the radio for that particular program. I kind of want to throw 3 issues out there for people to think about and gravitate on, and what we're dealing with up into this period of time going into the election in November. Are we really running out of time, running out of opportunities, or running out of money? It could be simplistic to always say we're going to be running out of time because the clock is always ticking. The money aspect is a little bit different because a lot of people say in many different areas we don't have enough funding to allocate for different programs or sources and resources in any particular project that's needed. Opportunities, you could kind of fall into the particular category that we might not be creating the type of economic development. You don't need as many employees today to do the same amount of work. So it's kind of a catch-2 phrase, running out of time, running out of money, and running out of opportunities. Let's kind of keep the time as a normal part of life. I mean, it's always good to have the time working towards your advantage, and time in many levels of businesses is worth even more than money. So how you utilize your time to your best advantage. If you have an hour to put something together, you want to make sure something comes out of that hour. The dealing with the level of running out of money, I mean, the more money you have coming in, the ways that you can invest it, the ways that you can save it, the way you can kind of produce something could always be towards your advantage of having your money work for you, and then you don't look at it as you're running out of money. Running out of opportunities, I think, might be the biggest challenge that we're dealing with as a society, because the opportunities that you need today to be able to expand your horizon, to be able to expand what you're trying to reach, many people are really scared about the fact that a lot of kids in particular graduating out of high school, and let's clearly be upfront, a high school diploma today is nothing more than a drop in the bucket. Most cases, a high school diploma is not going to get you a good career. It's just a starting point, actually even a screening out process. Post-secondary education is almost mandatory if you have any chance of a particular opportunity of a better quality of life in the mainstream economy. Now, how you go about getting the type of post-secondary education, what type of interest fits what you're looking for and what you're capable of doing could always be a challenge. But clearly, we need to make sure that the people that we're targeting graduating out of high school understand that a high school diploma is almost just a piece of paper. It's an important piece of paper to have, but only as a starting point to lead you to where you're trying to go at. And that gets into opportunities. If you don't have the credentials, the criteria, the experience, and clearly the who you know aspect too, your opportunities are really going to be diminished in many different levels. If we can find a way in our society to expand our economy, because people will say, we shouldn't always put the emphasis that you gotta be college educated, you gotta have the technical skills, you gotta be some highly trained individual, because we do need in everyday society people that can cook food, people that can serve the food, people that can clean up. I mean, all work in our society is needed and it's important. It's just how much a company or an employer is going to be willing to pay for the type of work that you have to offer. And the wages are not keeping up today with inflation. Now, to bounce back into, are we running out of money? Now, the U.S. has a way to make sure that it can constantly print money, but then you get into inflationary problems. Are we in debt? Do we owe more than what we're taking in? Are we going to be in a position to invest in human capital and infrastructure? I think, let me target the infrastructure phase. I'm pretty sure throughout the country you might be finding a lot of infrastructure projects dealing with the clean water, the water and sewage field of operations, making sure that your pipes is upgraded after having infrastructure in place for almost 100 years. There's a lot of money and investment opportunities that's involved in that phrase of infrastructure. I'm seeing it here in Hartford over the past 5 years. It's making a lot of people get rich off of this major clean water project. Just coming down to the studio today, I walked past a police car, I guess a police officer patrolling the street that they're doing the work with the clean water project that I live on. I'm looking at a BMW SUV. The police officer is not even in the area, but yet the police officer is making a lot of money working on that particular project. And then when you get into opportunities, it's kind of hypocritical of what we're telling many of our people growing up in our cities today. You don't see the type of job expansion for the residents who are looking for jobs in many aspects. Just this clean water project alone is not really doing much towards hiring and training and giving out the type of contracts for residents and minorities that's living in these cities. And we are telling people that there's no work in the city, so you need to go seek work and employment opportunities elsewhere. But at the same time, you have many of the police department, the Hartford Police Department here, that's making time and a half on these cities that they don't want to live in, but they have no problem coming in every single day collecting a check. Again, that's kind of what I mentioned yesterday about knowing how to play the game to win. That is a form of having money available and being able to capitalize on opportunities and utilizing the time to work for your advantage. Meaning that if you can come into a city, work 8 hours a day, not kill yourself working overtime. If you work overtime, you're getting the benefit of the wages that you are seeking. You're taking advantage of the opportunity in the long run to build up your pension. Then you're putting all of the components together. Our cities are changing. There's an emphasis on trying to bring more people back into the downtowns. I would assume this is going on all over the country. Trying to redevelop many of the buildings that you have, build new buildings, bring in residents with disposable income, have the residents now be in a position to pump money back into the economy, and kind of have your downtowns as a new form of a neighborhood separated towards the other neighborhoods that exist in your city. I don't sense that there's a direct link to have the money and the resources funneled through downtown, through the neighborhoods, and back and forth. I think it's a design strategy to keep the money and resources circulated in one particular area. I will say, reading today's edition of the Hartford Current, some of the new forms of development of housing that they're planning on two buildings, they are looking towards low and moderate income rental base, which is a good sign, meaning that if you can come into your downtown city and be able to afford a one-bedroom apartment, even for $1,000, it's not that bad in the downtown area in any part of the country. That's probably considered cheap or low in high expensive cities like New York, San Francisco, and other high-end cities throughout the country. The opportunities I think you need to keep that always in a perspective of knowing what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you can take advantage of, because opportunities will always be around. There's a lot of ways of having opportunities work for you if you know how and you know where the opportunities are located at. Sometimes the opportunities could be right in front of your footsteps, but you just don't even realize it. And if people from the outside can see that there's a lot of opportunities in your own backyard, and the people that live directly in these areas cannot see the opportunities, then I don't know who you blame for that particular problem. It's a major challenge to get people to realize that there is opportunities. 100 years ago, when many immigrants was coming into the United States, they was coming into this country for opportunities. Today, people are leaving many third world countries, still coming into the United States for opportunities. But are there enough opportunities for everybody to go around? When you have a highly competitive market of people and resources, and then that's where you get back into running out of money. Is there enough money to really pay for everybody that needs to be put into the workforce? Is there enough money to really go into training people that are not going on to post-secondary education? Training is a very expensive component when you're talking about training an individual. You have to put insurance on that person while you're training him. That's very expensive to the employer. So the employer could take the attitude that it's just costing me too much money to train people, and I'm not guaranteed after I even train this individual that he's going to stick with this particular company. So that's where you could fall into the category of running out of money. You just don't have enough money. It's too much of a risk to put into people that you're not sure you're going to get a return on your investment. Running out of time, meaning that, hey, as you're getting older, you're competing with younger people. It's very difficult when you've lost 20 years out of your life or out of your workforce to try to catch up. And the only way I think you can kind of catch up a little bit quicker when you're running out, as you're getting older, is to find a way to have something in place at a very shorter period of time, 2 to 3 years. Even in football, it used to be a game plan that you would give a quarterback or a new coach 5 years to turn a professional football team around. Now it's down to 2 to 3 years that, if you hire a new coach, you are expecting this coach to come in, get this team into the Super Bowl in 3 years, where at one time it used to be 5 years. You talk to any financial investor, they will tell you, if you start saving and investing at 20, you will be a lot better off than starting and investing as you get older, let's say 30 years or 40 years. The earlier you start, the more it works towards your advantage. That's where clearly having time to utilize yourself towards is very important. Time is a valuable component to have, and some people have all the time in the world. Some people can have all of the time to get up every single day and not know what to do or not doing anything any different than the next day. You have to challenge people, how to utilize time to work towards your advantage. I don't know if all of these aspects is being taught in our public school system. I think it's a major problem that we're not teaching children, particularly in your public school systems, the value of taking advantage of time, money, and opportunities. We got to do things here differently if we want to expect different changes. And I think right now it's a major challenge. It might be a major obstacle, problem, crisis, whatever you want to call it. As an individual, I definitely want to take advantage of opportunities. I want to take advantage of the money that's available. I want to utilize the time that's available. Nobody really cares, to be honest, about your personal rut, your personal crisis. Unless you run across a select few or some compassionate people who really have the understanding and belief that we could work with you and try to correct what you're dealing with. And even then, you got to be serious enough to understand that you got to still do your part as you're getting the assistance that you need. I hope at this particular time that some people out there can kind of pick up on what I'm saying. I'm going to try to address this issue tomorrow and many other different issues to the candidate that's running in a newly formed 5th District here in Windsor and Hartford combined, Leo Canty. Please tune in if you get the opportunity tomorrow at 12:15 p.m. on WRTC Radio 89.3 FM for the Henry Brown Mike Johnson Show. I will be filling in as a co-host. The program could also be logged on to online, WRTC.com. I'm going to be perfectly honest with this candidate. I'm going to put some real serious questions and issues to him face to face, because people are tired of hearing the same broken record decade after decade. I hope people can tune in August the 13th as we will be starting the Small Report online every single day, Monday through Friday at 12 noon. Until the next time, have a very blessed day. Thank you.
Let's do it. Let's do it.